When the night is quiet and the world is resting, many older souls find themselves awake, not by choice, but by pain. If you're over 60 and still waking up with your hands gripping your leg in the dark, you must understand this is not a natural part of aging. It is not your body wearing out. No, it is a signal, a message. And sadly, most people have stopped listening. Cramps are not random. They are not a punishment either. They are the language of the nervous system, subtle but insistent. They whisper of imbalance, often in the most essential of places, your diet. What you choose to put on your plate or leave off it has a ripple effect far beyond the meal. It may be quietly draining your strength, interrupting your rest, shortening your steps, and weakening your foundation. But I offer this with clarity. It can be reversed, not with pills, not with force, but with awareness and food. Nature, in its quiet wisdom, has provided us with what we need. In the next few moments, I will share 3 foods that do not merely stop the cramp. They rebuild, they restore circulation, strength, and that steady foundation your body has been longing for. And the first is often the most overlooked: avocados, a fruit humble in appearance, but noble in purpose. For years, avocados were ignored, unfit for the sweet, flashy trends of modern diets, too fatty, too plain. But traditional wisdom and now science has brought them into the light again. Not as a fashion, not as a topping for toast, but as medicine, especially for those of us walking the second half of life's path. Let us begin with what matters most beyond the age of 60, muscle function and the quiet resilience of the nervous system. With each passing year, our internal balance becomes more delicate. We lose potassium more quickly. Magnesium levels diminish without fanfare. And when these minerals are low, the body cries out, not in words, but in spasms, in twitches, in the shock of a calf locking tight as we walk or rest. These are not accidents, these are warnings. The nervous system knocking gently on the door, asking, will you replenish me? Avocados answer that call, not with violence, but with gentleness, not with a crash, but a calm return to equilibrium. One avocado contains nearly 700 milligrams of potassium, more than a banana, but without the sugar that so often destabilizes the aging body. You see, bananas deliver sugar quickly, and for some seniors, that surge can cause more harm than help. Avocados come wrapped in healthy monounsaturated fats, fats that do not inflame but soothe. They balance blood sugar, they support the heart, they create stability and magnesium. The forgotten mineral. Its absence is often mistaken for fatigue, poor sleep, or mental fog, but its role is deeper. It is the mineral of relaxation. Without magnesium, the body clenches, the back stiffens, the legs drag, even the heart's rhythm may waver. Avocados provide this too, and in a form the body understands. Few foods offer this sacred pairing, magnesium and potassium in harmony. It is not the quantity alone that matters, but the proportion, the way the body receives and integrates it. Avocados, in this sense, are wise. They bring minerals not as isolated compounds, but as part of a whole, supported by fats, fiber, and subtle antioxidants. Yes, the benefit goes far beyond cramps. These fruits are anti-inflammatory. They contain phytosterols, lutein, and zeaxanthin, compounds that guard against oxidative stress, the invisible erosion caused by time, pollution, and emotional strain. They protect nerves, especially those responsible for balance, coordination, and the sense of presence in your own body. If you've been feeling unsure on your feet lately, it may not be age, it may be nutrition, and that we can change. Avocados also tend the blood vessels. Potassium helps relax them, allowing blood to flow with less resistance. When combined with the fiber in the avocado's flesh, this process deepens. Fiber slows digestion, giving the body time to absorb, regulate, and heal. Cholesterol improves. Blood sugar evens out. The gut steadies. With one fruit, you nourish the entire system: heart, brain, muscles, and mind. For those of you who suffer from nighttime cramps, the sharp, sudden kind that interrupts your rest, avocados can become a nightly ally. Their slow digesting fats keep blood sugar steady through the dark hours. That is important. Many nocturnal cramps come not from movement, but from a drop in blood sugar or subtle dehydration. Avocados address both. And if you worry about the fat content, let me say this clearly. These are not the fats to fear. These are the fats that protect the heart, support hormone production, and assist in the absorption of vital fat-soluble vitamins, A, D, E, K. These are the fats that carry wisdom through your bloodstream, not confusion. In this one food, you will find not just nutrition, but companionship, a quiet, steady force that restores without noise. It is not trendy, it is not magical, but it works. And that, in the end, is what matters most. As we age, the body becomes more selective, more sensitive to what it receives. The systems that once absorbed and processed nutrients effortlessly now require more care, more intention. This is especially true for the fat-soluble vitamins A, D, E, and K. These are not just letters on a bottle. They are the gatekeepers of vision, bone strength, immune resilience, and cellular repair. But without the right fats, they remain locked away, unused. This is where avocados offer yet another silent gift. Their natural fats do more than nourish, they enable. Unlike processed oils that inflame or saturated fats that clog and confuse the body, the fats in avocado help lower LDL cholesterol, the kind that burdens your arteries, and raise HDL, the kind that protects and heals. But nutrition, my friends, is not just a biochemical event. It is emotional, it is spiritual. When we eat well, we feel well, not just in our limbs, but in our hearts and minds. Avocados contain small but meaningful amounts of B vitamins and folate, substances known to support brain chemistry and emotional equilibrium. These nutrients don't shout, they don't sedate, they simply steady. They soften the waves of anxiety, they sharpen focus, they help you feel more like yourself again. Modern nutritional psychology is just beginning to confirm what ancient traditions have always known. When the cells are nourished, the spirit lifts, the mind clears, reactions soften. We move through the day not rushed, not foggy, but present, rooted, like a tree that no longer sways wildly in the storm. You see, food is not just fuel, it is feedback. It is a conversation between the outer world and your inner world. So the question becomes, how will you listen? Eating avocado doesn't require ceremony, but it does benefit from simplicity. A half drizzled with olive oil and a sprinkle of sea salt, mashed gently onto sprouted grain toast, blended into a smoothie with greens and almond milk, or sliced over a salad kissed with lemon. The method is not complicated. The intention is what matters. Avoid frying it. Don't pair it with processed sugary sauces. The goal is not confusion. The goal is calm, steady nourishment. A single half avocado each day is often enough to replenish key minerals, restore balance, and protect without overwhelming. And if you choose to pair it with dark leafy greens or a handful of nuts, the body will absorb even more. These combinations are not just meals, they are moments of recovery, opportunities to repair rather than react. Let me be clear, avocados are not a trend, they are a tool. A quiet weapon against cramps, fatigue, brain fog, and frailty. They come with no side effects, no expiration date on their relevance. They offer bioavailable nutrition, meaning your body knows what to do with it immediately. So the next time your legs feel heavy, when your mood drops, when your sleep is shallow, or your energy stumbles, do not reach for sugar. Sugar stimulates, but it does not support. Reach for substance. Reach for what heals, not what distracts. At this stage in life, every meal is a quiet act of devotion. A question, do I inflame or do I calm? Do I numb or do I nourish? With avocado, the choice becomes clear. It brings clarity, not noise, strength, not stimulation. And now we turn to the second offering from nature. Less fashionable perhaps, but just as powerful. Sweet potatoes, earthborn, humble, deeply orange. Often dismissed as a simple side dish, they are in truth one of the most overlooked sources of deep cellular restoration for older adults. Their strength lies not just in flavor or fiber, but in their mineral composition. Sweet potatoes are rich in magnesium, potassium, and calcium, the very minerals your muscles, nerves, and bones rely on to function in harmony. When muscles cramp, whether it's a calf at midnight, a foot during a walk, or your back after too much sitting, it is often not simply dehydration. It is electrolyte imbalance. Magnesium relaxes the muscle. Potassium allows it to contract. Calcium enables the nerve signals that coordinate every movement. If even one of these elements falls out of rhythm, the body lets you know, with pain, with twitching, with stiffness, with weakness. Unlike synthetic supplements, which the body sometimes struggles to absorb, sweet potatoes offer these minerals in a form the body recognizes. They come wrapped in fiber, water, and natural sugars that digest slowly and gently. That's where their second gift lies. They are a complex carbohydrate, not a fast-burning sugar. As the body ages, its ability to regulate insulin declines. Sudden spikes in blood sugar are harder to manage, and they often leave behind a trail of fatigue, inflammation, and mental fog. Sweet potatoes do not crash you. They carry you. Their carbohydrates break down slowly, delivering a steady stream of energy and restoring glycogen. Your muscles reserve fuel, and in doing so, they reduce the frequency of cramps, restore energy after movement, and calm the body from the inside out. When a food offers relief on many levels, physical, emotional, systemic, it is no longer just food. It becomes a companion on the healing path. Sweet potatoes are such a companion. Their minerals, yes, restore the balance of your muscles, but pair that with their anti-inflammatory nature, and you have something far more complete. You have a food that helps you move with greater ease, rest with greater depth, and recover, not in a rush, but in rhythm. Yet the medicine of sweet potatoes goes even further. Beneath their orange hue lies a dense reserve of beta-carotene, a powerful antioxidant that converts into vitamin A. This is the vitamin of sight, skin, and self-defense. As the years pass, our vision may blur, our skin loses its ability to repair, and the immune system doesn't respond with the same vigor it once did. But beta-carotene resists that decline. It fortifies the retina, helps preserve night vision, and strengthens the mucous membranes, those unseen guardians that protect your respiratory and digestive systems from external threats. In other words, every bite of sweet potato is an act of resistance, not against aging, but against unnecessary loss. And the healing doesn't stop at the eyes or the skin. It reaches the gut, where much of our immune strength and mood stability reside. Sweet potatoes are rich in natural fiber, and this fiber acts like a broom, sweeping gently through the intestines, clearing stagnation and feeding the microbiome, the beneficial bacteria that regulate everything from digestion to emotional balance. If constipation, bloating, or irregularity have quietly become your norm, especially due to medication or inactivity, adding sweet potatoes may help restore rhythm to your days. Digestion, like breath, like rest, needs a pattern, and fiber helps you remember that pattern. Now, let us pause and consider the question: how should this root be prepared? Because intention matters. Not only what we eat, but how we treat it. Boiling, if overdone, can rob the sweet potato of its minerals, letting them slip away into the water. But steaming, roasting, or baking, these preserve what is essential. They also enhance the natural sweetness and density without requiring sugar or added fats. A simple drizzle of olive oil, a pinch of sea salt, that is often enough. If your joints ache or your body holds inflammation, consider mashing the sweet potato with turmeric and black pepper. This blend is more than flavorful. It speaks to the joints, calms stiffness, and encourages mobility. Sweet potatoes also welcome the presence of healthy fats. These fats help escort fat-soluble vitamins like A and E into the bloodstream where they can be used. Add a few slices of avocado, a spoonful of tahini, a sprinkle of ground flaxseed. These are not just toppings, they are amplifiers, transforming a humble dish into a quiet healing ritual for muscles, joints, and the nervous system. And how often should this ritual return to your plate? Aim for 3 to 4 servings each week. Not every day, not obsessively, but consistently, like watering a plant. That frequency is enough to stabilize magnesium and potassium levels, regulate digestion, and prevent those all too common muscle flare-ups that people too often dismiss as just aging. But let us remember, aging is not the same as depletion. The body doesn't fall apart because of years. It falters when nourishment is missing, not just calories, but deep nutrition. Sweet potatoes offer that depth. They are not trendy, not exotic. They do not arrive in plastic tubs or shiny labels, and that is their strength. Your body recognizes them. It digests them gently. It distributes their gifts wisely, and it thanks you, not in applause, but in small, quiet victories. Looser legs, steadier energy, sharper clarity. So the next time your legs tighten, don't simply rub the pain away. Ask what your body is trying to tell you and respond with real food. Food that grows, that grounds, that restores. Not everything that heals comes in a bottle. Sometimes healing lives in a root, carved from the earth, cooked with intention, and eaten with quiet reverence. And now we turn to something even smaller, a seed that holds more than promise. It holds power. Sometimes what heals us is not grand or glamorous. Sometimes it is small, humble, so ordinary that we overlook it entirely. Pumpkin seeds, or papitas, as they are gently called in some cultures, are exactly that. Often scooped from a hollowed squash and tossed aside, often sealed in plastic bags and forgotten on the shelf, they carry within them something rare, quiet, concentrated strength. These seeds are not just food. They are nature's mineral supplement, whole, unprocessed, and deeply functional. For those walking through the later seasons of life, they offer something we all eventually long for: balance, relief, stability. Let us begin with what matters most to the aging body: magnesium. This single mineral participates in more than 300 essential processes within us. It governs how our muscles contract, how our nerves fire, and how deeply we sleep. And yet, many people, especially older adults, are profoundly deficient. Not because they neglect their health, but because modern life depletes magnesium quietly. Stress consumes it. Certain medications rob it. Blood sugar fluctuations, even caffeine, chip away at its reserves. And when it falls too low, the body speaks. Through tight calves, restless legs, sudden spasms, or that uncomfortable twitch in the foot that wakes you at 2 a.m. But here lies the beauty. Just one handful of pumpkin seeds, about an ounce, can provide up to 40% of your daily magnesium needs. Not in pill form, not in synthetic powder, but as food, real nourishment from the earth. Bioavailable, meaning your body doesn't need to guess how to use it. It simply recognizes, receives, and responds. Yet magnesium is only the beginning. Pumpkin seeds are also rich in zinc, a mineral that becomes harder to absorb with age, but more essential than ever. Zinc repairs nerves, strengthens immunity, and supports hormone balance. Without enough zinc, the body may heal slower, inflammation may linger longer, and the mind may feel exhausted but unable to settle. That feeling of being wired but tired, it's often biochemical, not just emotional. A small daily dose of pumpkin seeds brings that equilibrium back, gently, patiently. And then there are the antioxidants, vitamin E, lignans, and other plant compounds working quietly in the background. Their mission? To reduce oxidative stress, the invisible wear and tear caused by time, pollution, and internal inflammation. If you've been waking up stiff, if your joints feel sore after simple movements, this is not just age. It is your body asking for restoration. And these antioxidants help sweep away cellular debris, ease inflammation, and allow the body to rebuild from within. One of the most unexpected gifts pumpkin seeds bring, especially for older adults, is better sleep. Not because they act like a sedative, but because of what magnesium does to the nervous system. It calms it. It allows melatonin, your natural sleep hormone, to be produced and released with greater ease. Sleep doesn't come from force, it comes from safety, and magnesium helps your body feel safe enough to rest. That is why, after just a few days of adding these seeds to their diet, many seniors notice fewer wake-ups, less tossing and turning, and, perhaps most significantly, a reduction in painful nighttime cramps. But the story doesn't end at nightfall. Pumpkin seeds are a rich source of plant-based protein and healthy fats, which means they nourish, satisfy, and stabilize. Many older adults reach for sugary snacks between meals, not out of weakness, but out of the body's need for energy and minerals. Unfortunately, sugar offers stimulation without substance. It spikes and crashes. It takes more than it gives. Pumpkin seeds, by contrast, offer low glycemic, sustaining energy that fuels without inflaming. A small serving can support blood sugar, calm the nervous system, and feed your muscles with what they actually need to function well. And how to eat them? The answer is with simplicity. Keep a small jar of raw, unsalted pumpkin seeds within reach, in the kitchen, on the table, wherever your hands might remember them. Add a spoonful to your oatmeal, sprinkle over yogurt, blend into a smoothie, toss onto a salad, or simply eat them plain in the afternoon when your body needs a top-up but not a burden. No cooking, no fuss, just open, chew, and allow healing to begin. And if you wish to elevate the effect, pair the seeds with a small piece of fruit or a square of dark chocolate, both gentle sources of glucose and magnesium. This simple combination feeds both the muscle and the mind. It's not just a snack, it's a moment of care. But one truth must be spoken. Not all seeds are equal. Choose raw or dry roasted. Avoid pre-seasoned or oil-coated varieties, which often carry hidden ingredients that disrupt what you're trying to heal. Purity matters, especially when the goal is repair. And most of all, consistency matters. One handful once a week is not enough to shift a chronic deficiency. But a small serving each day, that can change how you feel, that can calm the twitch, that can return strength to your stride and stillness to your nights. Sometimes the smallest things carry the greatest power. One handful once a week will not change your foundation, but one handful every day, faithfully, gently, quietly, can. It can calm the restless twitch in your legs. It can restore steadiness to your walk. It can bring peace back to your nights. You do not need another pill. You do not need to chase after complicated solutions. Sometimes the body is not asking for a miracle. It is asking to be heard, to be understood, to be nourished in a language it remembers. And sometimes that language is as simple as a seed. You see, your legs are more than limbs. They are your freedom. They are what carry you toward the world, toward your loved ones, your garden, your morning walk, your favorite chair by the window. So when your legs begin to cramp, shake, or ache, do not see it as failure. It is a message, a signal, a quiet call from within. The pain is not your enemy. It is your teacher. A whisper saying something is missing. And what's missing is not willpower. It is not discipline. It is not age. What's missing is support. But this is where many people turn away. They wait. They wait until it's unbearable, until sleep becomes fractured, until walking becomes fearful, until they've tried ointments, pills, and distractions, and still nothing changes. But here is the truth. Your body does not want another quick fix. It does not need band-aids. It needs materials. The raw elements it was built with, minerals, fats, fiber, not from a lab, but from the earth, from food, real food, your muscles, your nerves, your bones. They are not crying out for magic. They are asking for something simple, what they've been missing. And that begins not in a doctor's office, but in your kitchen, not in waiting rooms, but on your plate, not in a prescription, but in your hands. The moment you stop brushing aside your symptoms as just age, the moment you begin to listen, something powerful happens. Your body begins to respond. It doesn't demand perfection. It only asks for presence. It asks to be remembered. And the most encouraging part, healing doesn't have to be complicated. It doesn't require exotic ingredients or extreme rules. It starts with small choices, repeated with care, a bowl of pumpkin seeds, a sweet potato, warm and golden, dusted with turmeric, half an avocado, softened with sea salt. These are not fads. These are tools, ancient, quiet, and deeply intelligent. They do not shout. They rebuild from the inside, slowly, gently, wholly. But like any tool, they only work when they are used consistently. That is the secret. Not once, not occasionally, but every day. Think of food not as rescue, but as ritual. Not just something to fix what's broken, but something that keeps you whole. Magnesium will not help you if it arrives once a month. Potassium cannot restore your muscles if it is forgotten 5 days in a row. Your body is not a machine, it is a rhythm. So create that rhythm, create a ritual around your healing. Let every daily meal say one quiet thing. Today I choose strength, and let it go further. Let it be not just what you eat, but how you eat. Choose raw, unsalted seeds. Chew slowly. Digestion begins in the mouth. Sprinkle them over warm soup where they soften and release. Add them to oatmeal where they offer fuel. Toss them on salad where they bring texture and vitality. Make food beautiful again. Make it something you enjoy, not endure, because there's something most people forget. This isn't only about ending cramps. It's about reclaiming your freedom. Your legs do not simply carry your body, they carry your life, your choices, your independence, your confidence to walk through a door without hesitation, to stand in line without pain, to walk, to travel, to kneel in the garden again. These are not luxuries, these are your rights, and they are worth preserving, one meal at a time, to play freely with your grandchildren, to rise in the quiet of night without fearing the floor beneath your feet. These are not luxuries. They are the quiet freedoms that make life worth living. And when your legs begin to falter, those freedoms start to fade. But when your legs are strong, your life is strong. So don't wait, not for the walker, not for the fall. Begin now. Nourish your legs, not because you are weak, but because you are still in command. You still hold the power to change how you feel, to reclaim what time may have borrowed. To move through your day with steadiness, not fear. This is not about chasing youth. It's about protecting your mobility, your dignity, because true quality of life is not found in how you look or how fast you move. It lives in whether you can rise without swaying, walk without pain, sleep without interruption. That is freedom, that is peace, and that begins very simply at your table. So, if you are truly committed to living well into your 70s, your 80s, and beyond, don't chase trends. Don't fear fat. Don't count every calorie. Just eat with awareness. Eat with reverence. Eat like your life depends on it, because in many ways it does. When the night is quiet and the world is resting, many older souls find themselves awake, not by choice, but by pain. If you're over 60 and still waking up with your hands gripping your leg in the dark, you must understand this is not a natural part of aging. It is not your body wearing out. No, it is a signal, a message. And sadly, most people have stopped listening. Cramps are not random. They are not a punishment either. They are the language of the nervous system, subtle but insistent. They whisper of imbalance, often in the most essential of places, your diet. What you choose to put on your plate or leave off it has a ripple effect far beyond the meal. It may be quietly draining your strength, interrupting your rest, shortening your steps, and weakening your foundation. But I offer this with clarity. It can be reversed, not with pills, not with force, but with awareness and food. Nature, in its quiet wisdom, has provided us with what we need. In the next few moments, I will share 3 foods that do not merely stop the cramp. They rebuild, they restore circulation, strength, and that steady foundation your body has been longing for. And the first is often the most overlooked: avocados, a fruit humble in appearance, but noble in purpose. For years, avocados were ignored, unfit for the sweet, flashy trends of modern diets, too fatty, too plain. But traditional wisdom and now science has brought them into the light again. Not as a fashion, not as a topping for toast, but as medicine, especially for those of us walking the second half of life's path. Let us begin with what matters most beyond the age of 60, muscle function and the quiet resilience of the nervous system. With each passing year, our internal balance becomes more delicate. We lose potassium more quickly. Magnesium levels diminish without fanfare. And when these minerals are low, the body cries out, not in words, but in spasms, in twitches, in the shock of a calf locking tight as we walk or rest. These are not accidents, these are warnings. The nervous system knocking gently on the door, asking, will you replenish me? Avocados answer that call. Not with violence, but with gentleness. Not with a crash, but a calm return to equilibrium. One avocado contains nearly 700 milligrams of potassium, more than a banana, but without the sugar that so often destabilizes the aging body. You see, bananas deliver sugar quickly, and for some seniors, that surge can cause more harm than help. Avocados come wrapped in healthy monounsaturated fats, fats that do not inflame but soothe. They balance blood sugar, they support the heart, they create stability and magnesium, the forgotten mineral. Its absence is often mistaken for fatigue, poor sleep, or mental fog, but its role is deeper. It is the mineral of relaxation. Without magnesium, the body clenches, the back stiffens, the legs drag, even the heart's rhythm may waver. Avocados provide this too, and in a form the body understands. Few foods offer this sacred pairing, magnesium and potassium in harmony. It is not the quantity alone that matters, but the proportion, the way the body receives and integrates it. Avocados, in this sense, are wise. They bring minerals not as isolated compounds, but as part of a whole, supported by fats, fiber, and subtle antioxidants. Yes, the benefit goes far beyond cramps. These fruits are anti-inflammatory. They contain phytosterols, lutein, and zeaxanthin, compounds that guard against oxidative stress, the invisible erosion caused by time, pollution, and emotional strain. They protect nerves, especially those responsible for balance, coordination, and the sense of presence in your own body. If you've been feeling unsure on your feet lately, it may not be age, it may be nutrition, and that we can change. Avocados also tend the blood vessels. Potassium helps relax them, allowing blood to flow with less resistance. When combined with the fiber in the avocado's flesh, this process deepens. Fiber slows digestion, giving the body time to absorb, regulate, and heal. Cholesterol improves. Blood sugar evens out. The gut steadies. With one fruit, you nourish the entire system: heart, brain, muscles, and mind. For those of you who suffer from nighttime cramps, the sharp, sudden kind that interrupts your rest, avocados can become